right, I have a treat today. So I'm going to be removing and reapplying fiber gel as well as some gel color on my client's nails, right? So you can see how far their nails have grown out. What we want to be able to do is rebalance everything, remove, reapply. I want to be able to show you guys how easy this is. Go through the whole entire process. That way, for those of you guys that are interested in learning how to do this, again, there is no need for you to soak this off. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be setting this down in the moment, right? In the moment, I'm just going to go ahead and set her hand right here. And then you're going to notice that I'm going to be using a safety bit, right, to do my work. So what I'll usually do is remove the product from the surface of the hand first before I do the shaping. The prep work, as you can see, is going to take a little bit of time. Let's go ahead and set the service, right? I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my electric file. So one of the things you'll notice is I'll turn the electric file on to about maybe like 10 or 11,000 RPMs. And I'm gonna go ahead and start to remove the product from the surface. So what I like to do is I like to use what I call a light feathering motion, right? So I'm just going to lightly kind of tickle through the center of the nail and then just lightly move around and then start using, again, a light tickling motion. So with my barrel, if I use the bottom of the barrel, you'll notice that I'll able to come in one direction. The biggest problem that a lot of beginners have when they're working is they'll hold the hand in this position and they'll try to work side to side and the bit ends up spinning around. You'll notice that if I have the customer's hand in an overgrip position, what this is going to allow me to do is work gently around, right, without skipping. And then that way I'm going to be able to remove the product from the surface of the hand really easy. So you'll notice here, again, I lightly kind of tickle through the center. And the great thing about my client is that she doesn't, like her nails are strong. So I only need a coat of fiber gel and some color on the surface, which makes it really, really easy. For those of you guys that just joined us, make sure to smash that like button. And again, if you guys need any product information, you can go to www.youngnails.com. So you can see how I quickly get around gently. I don't need to put pressure. Then again, if I'm coming around this profile, what I'll be able to do is just lightly feather in one direction. And all I need to do, you can see the bond to the surface. There's no lifting, there's nothing, right? This is going to give me the ability to get through the surface and lightly feather away. And then again, her free edge, I'm not going to be doing any like crazy work. I'm going to wait till I get a majority of the product off. And then what I'll be able to do is come clip her nails back. And then basically you can see there's a little bit of separation right there. So again, there's no nerve endings underneath her free edge. So I could put a little bit more pressure, lightly kind of feather, 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 tickle away any separation that there is. If there is any lifted area, again, you're not digging. What you're doing is you're just lightly moving through the surface and then using a feathering motion as you're coming through. Don't rush this. Again, for those of you guys that are just starting this, what you want to be able to do, and you can see I'm really focusing on this quadrant right there. I'm not going through, right, and trying to cover the whole entire surface at once. Like if I get through the center, then what I'm going to do is I'll work on that left quadrant. Tickle, 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 lightly, lightly feather, and then I can turn her hand to the side. You can see I have a little bit of excess. This gives me the ability to just use zone one of my barrel just to lightly come through. Then if I have to come in, right, and use zone 3 of the barrel, I'll be able to move in one direction towards myself just to lightly tickle away any type of product, right, that is basically on that left side. For those of you guys who just joined us, make sure smash that like button. You can see I'm already almost through everything. I'm lightly going to come through, feather away through the center. I break through the color. I lightly work in one direction coming down, focusing on that left quadrant. Focusing on the left quadrant, lightly tickling away. You can see that I'm getting really, really close. And then right here on this left side, you can see a little bit of color, right? Just gentle. And then again, using zone 3 of my barrel, what I'm gonna end up doing is just lightly tickling this away. Then as you can see, I've got the color removed. Yep, her thumb right here. So with the thumb, again, like if I lightly feather through, you can see I've already gotten through the color. Start coming down in one direction. I don't have to put a lot of pressure. She's got a little bit of separation. It's been almost 3 weeks, right, since we've done her nails. So what we want to be able to do is not only take off the product, once I get it down to the natural nail, then what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the length of the nail and then reapply the product on the surface to strengthen this out. So I'm able to get about 3 weeks. You can see right here at the tip, just a hair of separation, not a big deal. The client is very, very active. What we want to be able to do is just make sure that we're thinning this down. It's not necessary to remove everything from the surface of the nail. I think that a lot of people that are beginning, they have this misunderstanding that what you need to do is you have to soak off. And then you can see that by using a lightly feathering motion like this, I'm not digging into the nail. I want to be able to use, you can see, I want to be able to use the sharpness of the bit just to lightly kind of tickle away. So that's done. We're done with this hand. Let's go ahead and rest her hand. Let me go ahead and turn this to the side. And then again, let me just go ahead and position. So my client has, again, what I'll do is you guys can see, I'll just kind of rest this to brace her arm. And then I'll just kind of move off to the side. And then that way I'll be able to turn her wrist slightly in this position so that you can see I'm actually able to rest my hand on top of the dust extractor, right? So again, this is really important because a lot of people, they try to rush through this. They try to I'm going to try to remove this as fast as I can. Well, I mean, that's great, but you want to be able to do this in a means where it's super comfortable for your client. We don't want our client going ow, ow, ow through the whole entire surface. Again, you can get that same response if you're using a hand file. No one wants to wrap the fingers, let them soak for 20 to 30 minutes and then start the process. Again, if you want to get the nails done in a reasonable amount of time, you have to be able to depend on your tools so you don't look like a fool. So lightly feather through the center, focus on that left quadrant, use a light tickling motion. You can see I'm rotating her finger, I'm swiveling her finger, focusing on zone 3 of the barrel, using light tickling motion as I'm coming through to remove the excess from the surface. So if I have to go around, you can see I'm in an underhook position. Again, just lightly tickle. And then again, if I can't work this way, then I'll use zone 3 of the barrel to move in one direction towards myself just to lightly feather away. Now, if there's a little bit of color on the surface, again, I'm not really concerned because I'm going to be using a favorite color of hers that usually has 1 coat coverage. Okay, so again, lightly feather through the center, come around that cuticle area, lightly feather down, focus on a light feathering motion. Use, again, the tools to be able to do the job effectively. And you can see I'm rotating all the way through, lightly tickle, and then again, use zone 3 of the barrel to come all the way through. Wanted to change it up today. For those of you guys, again, that joined me during nail school, a lot of the techniques that I'm really focusing on are acrylic base. But again, a lot of you guys that are doing gel have to understand that this tool right here, your electric file, is one of the most important assets in your arsenal. You have to be able to use the tool effectively so that it's not about just speed. It's about, again, keeping your wrists your arms, your shoulders, your back in great shape so that you could have a great career. So lightly feather this away, again, removing all the gel. And as you can see, I started at a 30-minute timer. It's taken me, right? It's gonna take me probably less, right, to remove all the gel from the surface, shorten her nails, re-prep them, get them ready for application. It's probably gonna take me less than 15 minutes to do. That is way faster than soaking, right? And then getting ready for, again, a gel service or whatever you're going to be doing through. And again, she's not going to feel anything because I'm quickly moving through the surface of the nail, lightly tickling this away, right? If there is a little bit, you can see a little bit of residue. Let's try to get in closer. You can see a little bit of gel polish residue right there. I don't need to dig. I need to feather. Lightly feather, right? Use the barrel to lightly feather through the nail. That way the client is in a very, very comfortable position. Don't need to be aggressive. Okay, so once that is all done, let's go ahead and turn this off. I want to be able to show you what this is collected. So the best part, again, about the dust collector is that you can see, like, dude, all this is just going to be sitting here, right? This is great. Let's go ahead and remove that and then put that back on. And then what I'm going to end up doing, let me see your other, let's go to your other hand. So at this point, like if I'm going to show, like I'm not going to clip it with gel on the nail. So what we're going to do is just lightly remove the excess. My client on her fingers, again, I'm able to clip off a majority of the product, right? She likes to wear her natural nails just nice and short. So I'm going to clip this off. I'm going to make sure that I'm getting them reduced to a decent size. Before you can see there's a little bit of excess that's removed from the side. Again, I need to be able to just clip back a majority of the product, right? So her left hand is one thing. Her right hand, I want to be able to show you something. So just have to be careful of this because she has a little bit of extended hyponychium. So her natural nail ends up growing out with this. So again, with older clients, you want to just make sure the condition, you don't just want to go in and snip them off because then you can be causing a lot of discomfort if you clip into their skin. So we're just going to lightly clip that off. Again, remove as much as we possibly can. If it's not dead straight, we're going to be using our 240 file and buffer. So for this one right here, again, I just need to be really careful that I'm not going to be snipping back and clipping her skin. That's the farthest I'm going to be able to do that. With this one as well, I just need to get right here to the very, very edge. It's just the condition of her nail. And then what I could do is I could depend on my hand file to try to get them back as tight as we possibly can. Okay, so again, getting them reduced, getting the gel polish off the nail, clipping them off completely. And then what I want to be able to do for all of you guys who are just starting, you remember, you don't want to saw the nails, right? A lot of beginners, what they'll end up doing is they'll use too coarse of a file. So if you're using a 150 grit file, what ends up happening, if you're sawing the nail like this, then you could create kind of fractures in the free edge. We don't want that to happen. So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to file from corner to center lightly, and I want to be able to use a lighter file, right? Something that is fine, right? So it does not break the free edge. Again, come in, try to reduce, right, that, again, harshness around the tip using, again, a light corner to center motion all the way through, trying to get this as even as I can. There's a little bit more taken off that right side, which is fine. We're just trying to make this as even as we possibly can. Again, trying to get through from corner to center, prepping that. Let's do that with the other hand, making sure that we rest her hand on the surface. Done. All right, sorry if I'm not responding to the comments, I can't see anything. We have moderators that will be able to help you guys out. I'm just focusing on teaching and showing you guys the technique so that you have a really, really good understanding. Okay, so again, corner to center, corner to center. We're doing the same thing here. Again, with this one, I have to be really careful because of she has, again, a very extended hyponychium. I'm not going to be able to file back super crazy just because I don't want to clip the skin that's underneath her nail, but I still want to be able to manage the length, right? So that she is going to have something that's going to be, again, reasonable and matching to the other hand. Let's go ahead and get this sorted. All right, boom. So again, like the nice thing about using a fine file is even if you do use a light sawing motion, the texture is not super abrasive, so it's not going to clip everything. We also have, again, you have a little bit of the sponge on the side. So if there is any aggressive corners, what you're going to be able to do is come in and be able to just kind of just lightly refine and take away any of those harsh edges. Okay, so once I'm done doing this, what I like to do for my final stage before I actually go in and apply any gel on the surface of the nail, I'll take a sanding band. So here's the thing about using an arbor band. I want to be able to show this. These, again, you do not want to use them over and over again. To remove this properly from the surface, take the back of a brush, you can hold it right here, and then you can just slide this up, right? And then what you want to be able to do is take a brand new arbor band. Let's go ahead and put that on. I'm just going to push that on all the way. I'm going to go ahead and fire this back up. I'm going to be doing a light dusting around the nail. So you're going to see, what I'm going to end up doing is taking my electric file and going to about 4,000 RPMs, something very gentle, okay? So again, you're going to notice, look at this, right? If I'm using this on the inside of my wrist, this is nothing. It's very, very gentle. Okay, so yeah, I used a 240 on her nail. So at this point, I need to create texture. So what I'm going to do is just lightly go around the perimeter of the nail and then use a light feathering motion all the way through the surface, and I'm done. That's it. Do the same thing here. Just lightly around the perimeter of the nail. What you're doing is creating light texture. What this is going to do is it's going to ensure that whatever we're applying to the surface of the nail is going to be able to last, right, the extended time, the 3 weeks that we're looking for. I'm not putting a ton of pressure. I'm allowing the electric file to do all the work for me, using a light feathering motion to come through. And you can see by using my hand and keeping contact, what I'm able to do, again, is remove all, again, if there's loose product, if there, again, is any type of smooth surface, what I'm actually able to do is lightly prep, remove the shine, get this ready for a really, really nice gel polish application. I always go through the process of lightly tickling. So, you know, again, the time you spend doing your prep work is really going to determine whether or not the nails are going to really last, say, move this out, there you go, you comfortable? You know, the 3 weeks. And you know, some of your clients are going to want, again, that product to, they're going to go on holiday, they're going to come back, expecting their nails to last a month. Well, again, you don't want them to go a month, but what you want them to be able to do is last a long time. Again, a very, very gentle motion. We're almost done. Again, notice that I'm using a light feathering motion. It doesn't matter from removal to preparation. It's almost the same exact thing. I work around the cuticle area right here. I work around the cuticle area all the way down the sidewall, and then I start using zone 1 of my barrel to lightly feather through the surface so that I don't really have to move that much. Tickle everything off, get this ready for, again, our gel polish. So again, once we get through, we're removing everything. Tickle, 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 all the way through. Make sure that we're actually texturing, not using a lot of pressure. And then finally, what we want to be able to do is do the same exact thing. Lightly come through, tickle, 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 boom, all the way through, okay? Okay, now, prepped, done. So at this point, what I like to do is I'll come through, right? I'll come through, I'll use swipe. I'll pump the surface because there's dust all over her fingernails. So what we want to be able to do is use the swipe, and this is going to get all that dust out of, say, her sidewalls and the surface of the nail. So this is going to dehydrate everything. It's going to make sure that we balance the pH level of the natural nail. It's going to dehydrate the surface of the nail. And again, it's going to clean it, right? So if I come through and I do this, then what we're set for is, again, protein bond application. Okay, so with the best part about using the fiber gel is especially with my customer, what I'll usually do is come through and just put one coat. I mean, her nails, they bond so well, I don't need 2 coats. Boom, from cuticle to free edge, done. Okay, so all the gel has been removed, nails have been shaped, ready to go. And I'm gonna do a final shaping at the very, very end. I need to make sure that we're removing everything from the surface of the nail, right, which we'd have done. We've prepped it, ready for reapplication. I've cleaned everything. I've textured everything. I've, again, cleaned it again with swipe. And then what I'm doing is I'm applying 1 coat of protein bond all the way through her nail and getting it ready for fiber gel application. So fiber gel is what really helps her nails thrive. I want to be able to show you guys what you're going to be able to do. Okay, so we're done. Now, so what I'm going to do, this is it. Since we're using fiber gel, a lot of again, a lot of beginners when they're working, the first thing they notice is like, oh my gosh, like, you're gonna take this out and there's like a level of thickness. What I do to control it, this is really important. I always start with pinky first. So what I will do, right? I'll take a nice healthy amount, okay? And I will literally just go down the middle. I'll just leave it. And then I'll go down the middle. I still have a nice healthy amount. Again, I'm just gonna get this right down the middle. Might need a little bit more, okay? And then again, down the middle. What this does is it allows me to apply the product to the surface, and then I don't have to worry about it running all over the place. So the application is really fast. At this point, what I'll do is get this as tight, right, around the whole entire perimeter as I possibly can on the thumb. Boom. And then whatever excess is on my brush, I will use this, again, to work around and through. So I go back, I go from pinky to thumb, finish the thumb, and then I work back, right? And that basically back through. And as you can see, since I have that nice excess amount through the center of the nail, what I'm able to do is really control the application and get myself something, again, that's going to cover the whole entire nail without me worrying about it running all over the place, right? So this is also going to give you guys the ability, again, to control product that has a little bit more viscosity to it. Perfect. So now she goes inside the light. I don't even think about it. I just set it for 60 seconds. I am done. Okay, I start working on this hand right here. Do the same exact thing. I take a nice healthy amount, right? And what I'm gonna do is just put it right through the middle, right? Dude, done. Like, even if there's a little bit of excess, not a big deal. Whatever's on my brush, I'm just gonna work it through the middle. I don't have to worry about it running all over the place because I have space. I have space to be able to work with. I do the same exact thing. I work through the center. I work through the center. And then again, just need to be careful. Can you just bring that out a little bit farther, your hand a little bit farther, Emma? Perfect. So then here at this point, what I'm gonna end up doing is using this to apply a nice even coat from cuticle to free edge. All right, boom, trying to get this, and again, nice, and again, controlled. You can see that I'm balancing my finger, I'm connected all the way through. Whether I'm working with my electric file, whether I'm working with my polish brush, I have good connection. I hold my hand, you can see that I don't shake while I'm working. It allows me to have controlled application all the way through. That way I can guide the edge of the brush all the way around and through the nail without having to do anything. Okay, and again, we're trying to get a nice application without me worrying about product basically running everywhere. If you're doing one finger at a time, right, and you have to worry again about the amount of product that's on one finger, by the time you get to the thumb, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe everything ran down the pinky. If you do it this way, this is going to help tremendously. You can see how that one actually dribbled out to the right-hand side. Let me just get some of that excess off and then work it down and back and through. And as you can see, she's done. Okay, so we're gonna switch out hands. So at this point, this is great for those of you guys who have go time. You can use, again, a lot of gel colors on the market. She loves this color. This is her favorite one. And again, with this, I don't have to worry about applying a top coat. And with her nails too, all I have to really worry about is putting one coat. So I do the same exact thing. I'll brush through the middle. I'll brush through the middle. You're gonna trip out on how fast you're actually able to work when you can just get color down the center of the nail. With this one too, I'll just brush it through the center. You can choose. I don't have to worry about it running. Whatever's on my brush now, what I will be able to do, again, is work that excess nice and tight around the whole entire perimeter of the nail. That one is done. I'm gonna do the same thing on this one. I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna make sure that it's nice and tight. Notice my hand as well, fully balanced. I'm not shaking. Using that edge of the brush to guide it down the side wall. I get tight to the center. I use, again, that brush to come down the side. And then a few brush strokes through. For those of you guys that are in school that are learning how to apply gel polish or just polish, there's no such thing as applying it in 3. You can come around the edges, but notice what I like to do. Once I'm done applying it through the surface, if I come through and I get it tight down the edge, and I come down and I get it tight down the edge, then what I'll do is I'll work through it with multiple strokes just to make sure that we're gonna have a nice clean application. She's gonna go through. That hand is done. Look at this. We started at 30 minutes. I have 3 minutes and 52 seconds left. So you can understand how fast the application is. So again, boom, right? Boom, go through, apply a nice even coat. This is gonna help you guys tremendously. Dude, all those are done. What I'm gonna end up doing is coming through. I'll just go ahead and work this one because again, this one's gonna be really, really easy. Come through, make sure that I'm getting really tight application all the way around, multiple strokes, so it's nice and clean. And then again, work through, again, that excess that I apply down the center of the nails, work this all the way around, multiple strokes for cleanliness. Again, I don't need to go back on my bottle. I have enough product through the center of my brush. For those of you guys that are applying gel polishes that are a little bit less opaque, if you apply the first coat and you're not getting it tight to the cuticle area, you could always use a detailer brush, like a liner brush, to get around the edges, creating a great foundation for perimeter, and then you can go back and apply your second coat over the surface. So with my client, you're gonna see I'm actually able to go through, done. Inside the light, finished. Now, this is crazy. This is done. So what I'll do at this point, I will literally, I don't have to worry about breaking the seal. I know that with this product, with Protein Bond, with fiber gel, I'm just gonna lightly go around the edges. We're going to make sure that everything is nice and tight. And then what I'll do is I'll end up using the citrus cuticle oil, right? We'll go through, I'll apply it on all of her fingers. While the last one is curing out, I'm going to use a little bit, not just massaging it into here. I need to make sure to prevent it from peeling away, right, that we're actually applying it to the hyponychium as well, right? So it's not just the cuticle area, it's the front end of the nail as well. Dude, done. Don't have to worry about this. This one's done as well. So now, again, what I'm going to end up doing is coming through. And again, I'm just making sure I'm taking away any harsh edges, right? Just trying to make this as even as we possibly can. Boom. And then the same thing right here. Just make sure that we're taking away any harsh edges. Take a little bit of cuticle oil. What I'll end up doing is coming through, and then I have enough product, right, to work through. Boom. Done. And as you can see, I have a very happy client. Remember, you guys, the whole entire process, it has everything to do with having, obviously, great coordination and balance with your electric file. You don't need to do work. You don't need acetone. You have to have good maintenance skills. You have to know how to remove the product and reapply product. And you guys saw, look, it took me to remove everything, to get it all off, to prep it, to get it ready for application. It took me about 17 minutes to do, which again is a lot less than soaking some of the product off the natural nail. Getting it ready set me up for proper application. And again, with her, I only know I need 2 coats, which is great. Fiber gel for the base, color on top, go time, ready to rock and roll. Using the technique that I showed you, going through the center, right? It gives you peace of mind because you know that nothing is gonna get all over the place. Hopefully this helps. Look at that, less than 30 minutes. Client is in and out. Dude, easy $50. Wow. Wow. Free for her. I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, hit us up. Remember, smash that like button. If you guys need any information, www.youngnails.com. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Subscribe the channel now. Subscribe the channel now. Subscribe to the channel now. Subscribe to the channel.